Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Hello News, Hello Friend News, your Friendly News podcast. And today we're back for our end of the week um, podcast. I was going to say recap, but I'm not going to recap all the stories for the week. It's a lot of stories. There's more stuff about Trump and how the trial's going, more student protests, which we did discuss before. Those both things we discussed before. It's progressing, but nothing different really than it's continued. So the new thing today, I don't want to say big thing, that we're going to probably look at is the bird flu in the cow milk. We're going to try to look at it from a way that we can learn something instead of living fearfully. But before that, I wanted to talk. So I'm going to do one good story, one bad story, and one good story. Not bad story, but stressful story, potentially fearful story. But I say that every episode, and then I start with the fearful story first, and then I do two good ones. So I don't know why I keep doing that. If that's what it's supposed to be, I'm gonna try it how I want to do it, and I keep saying I'm gonna do it. So today is Arbor Day, National Arbor Day, which is so cool. So before we get to the story about bird flu, I thought I would look at Happy Arbor Day. Look at National Arbor Day. Talk about these things first. Let me share my screen. Do you guys like when I share my screen? Don't know. Let's see, share screen. Okay, and here we are together again, sharing screens. Okay, so happy Arbor Day. I am on NPR, I think. Yes, NPR. And this is stories written by Beth Novey. Sometimes I forget to see who the writer is, and I think it's important. These 20 books will change the way you look at trees. Trees communicate, they migrate, they protect, they heal. This year for Arbor Day, we climbed into the NPR archives to find our favorite arboreal fiction, nonfiction, and kids books. Nonfiction. 12 Trees, The Deep Roots of Our Future by Daniel Lewis. Better Living Through Birding, Notes from a Black Man in the Natural World by Christian Cooper. I gotta get that book. I like Christian Cooper. He had like a bird show, I think, on Disney. It was pretty good. I think he went to Harvard or something. He's educated. So I want to check it out. I think he bird watches in Central Park, New York, I believe. Okay, the next book, The Tree Line, The Last Forest and the Future of Life and the Earth by Ben Wallace. I don't know if I'm going to go through all these books. I thought they were going to talk about Arbor Day. But Tap the Magic Tree by Christy Matheson. The Night Gardener by Terry Fan. Beautifully drawn, this evocative book is deeply simple. When a boy discovers a tree outside his window has been magically transformed into an owl, he seeks to find the reason why. As more and more wondrous topiaries appear all along Grimlock Lane, the mystery deepens. That's when the boy, William, meets an enigmatic man who enlists his help. In The Night Gardener, brothers Terry and Eric Fan have created a gorgeous book about a small town that comes alive and a young boy whose life has been irrevocably changed. Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. Did you know trees can talk? I always thought that they could. One day, I hope to be able to talk with them so they can share their wisdom with me. Um, It looks like a book I would enjoy too. I wonder if is it young? Is it for young kids? Oh, I like it too because it's about Samar and her Muslim family. They are met with intolerance and hostility. Red is touched by Samar's simple wish and determined to make it come true, even at the risk of being cut down. The tender story is powerful without being preachy. Red is the tree. That's the name of the tree. Everybody leaves wishes on pieces of paper. And so whatever Samar wished for, this tree wants to make it happen. Everything you need for a tree house. It's a book based in a lot of imagination, it's said. Um, it's about seeing things. It's about seeing something that's not there and imagining your world as you want it to be. That's cool. The Tree in Me by Karina Loiken, 2021. In spare poetic text, the book describes how every child is like a tree rooted in nature. In all of my original sketches for the book, I was using shades of green looking tones, but as the visual story started to develop, I realized that the green was making the book feel too literal, and I wanted it to be much more expansive and universal than that. I wanted it to be a larger shape shifting, timeless tree. That looks really good. Berry song. Listen to the language of the trees. Oh, those were all kids' books. The Light Tree by Frances Hardinge, 2016, Gothic fantasy. It has to do with the tree about this book is about murder and a magical tree that grows truth revealing fruits only when faith whispers lies to it. Interesting. Anyway, so check out this list of books on NPR for the National Arbor Day and celebrate the trees. Trees and books. You can't get better than that. I mean, like, that's awesome. Okay, so in this one, what are we looking at today? Bird flu. So bird flu is being found in cow's milk in the grocery stores. And they're being spread from the cows in the milk. No, they're saying the milk is pasteurized. And so right now, they don't think anyone can get infected, but depending on how high the viral load is in the milk, it is possible to get infected. But they don't think right now that's the case. They haven't, they have only had one person infected, and this person was a person that worked with the cows when they were milking them. They think it's being spread by the milking machines because it has the highest viral loads when they test it. I think it's more in the Midwest for now. They said 1 in 5 of the milks are positive. So 58, they said, out of 150 bottles that were checked. Even the author or one of the testers, was it the author? No, one of the testers, one of the lab testers wanted to buy milk in his grocery store to use it as a negative, and it came out positive, and he was surprised. So it looks bad, or it could be scary, right? I think it was spread from a bird, or from birds to the cows, and then the cows spread among each other. I think it's across 8 states. Is it? Scientists don't view this as an immediate threat to human health. Genetic material is not the same as infectious material. And it's but genetic material I think they found in the milk. But there's a couple of big unknowns at this point, so they can't say anything for sure. It's been detected in 8 states in just over 30 herds. The actual number could be much larger, but they don't know because there hasn't been widespread testing in cattle. I believe they were probably going to start preliminary testing now. They said Webby discovered himself that when he went to the store to grab a carton of milk, which he intended to use as a negative control in his work on H5N1, to his surprise, even that ended up being positive. Unfazed, he kept the milk. Currently, the virus has only been detected in a tiny fraction of dairy herds in the US, but it's hard to know the significance of that finding when you don't also have details on the overall number of cattle tested, said Dr. Tim Inglesby, director of the Johns Hopkins Centers of Health Security. So the USDA has taken some new steps that could offer a better picture of the outbreak. There will be mandatory reporting of positive tests in cattle and a requirement that dairy cattle test negative for the virus before they move across state lines. They also said potentially complicating the picture, some unknown number of cattle could be shedding the virus without showing obvious symptoms. Federal health officials have confirmed this. We don't know how many animals have this, says Alex Thompson, a veterinarian at Texas A&M Veterinary Medical Diagnostic Laboratory. There has been very little sampling done. We don't know how many sick animals we have. We don't know how many asymptomatic animals we have. That testing has not been done. Because milk from sick cows is supposed to be discarded, this could help explain how remnants of the virus entered the milk supply. So it would mean that the cows are not appearing to be sick. So does the milk testing positive on retail shelves contain infectious virus? Not so far, it doesn't appear that way, but scientists who are studying this possibility acknowledge it's too soon to say that with absolute certainty. It's a small inconvenience for me not to drink milk until I have more data, he says. This is Rick Bright says. It doesn't mean that I think everyone should stop drinking milk. It's a personal risk assessment. So decide for yourself, if you just want to stay safe and stay away from milk a little bit, or cow milk. He says the key question is how much virus is in the milk and whether that changes if more cows get sick and more virus enters the milk supply. The higher the viral load in the milk, the more difficult it is for pasteurization to work completely, he says. If they know at this point there's no viable virus in the milk, that's a point in time. And what's going to be really critical is that the FDA continues to monitor this. So only one person, even with all the cows being infected, there has only been one documented human infection during the current outbreak in dairy cattle. That person is a dairy worker in Texas with conjunctivitis. So far, states have tested 23 people for avian flu and monitored 44 people who were considered exposed and at risk of infection. Generally, cases of bird flu are rare in humans and it takes a big dose of virus, for example, through direct contact while slaughtering poultry to get infected. Since 2022, there have been 26 cases of H5N1 virus infection reported worldwide. I don't think the needle has moved. Webby says it's possible the cows don't put that much pressure on the virus to change, which could be one reason scientists haven't seen alarming mutations in the samples collected. I don't think the needle has moved at all in terms of human risk, he says. So what could we learn from this? What's the wisdom here? And what can we leave the fear at? So, decide for yourself if you want to still purchase cow milk. You want this to be resolved before doing so. But I think what this brings into light is how we treat animals. And if there's a way to give them a better quality of life, so that if we do ingest products from animals, that we're ingesting good vibrations, good energy, and not unhappy vibes because the animals are unhappy. I don't know, for cattle farms, it just sounds so like they're not, like they're in little stalls and they're being milked and they're not out and running and, enjoying life. So I think that's what I'll take from it. Maybe this will hopefully pay attention to how the cows are housed and treated and fed and how they are cleaned, how to best support them. Animals on the hold. I just want on the whole. I said hold. Oh my goodness. This was written by Will Stone. So I like to trying to give credit where credit's due. So that's a bad story. Well, not bad. Possible fearful story, and that's done. Now we're gonna do one good story, another good one. This is an older story, but I like it. Mountain chickadees have remarkable memories with ability to recall locations of 10,000 hidden snacks. If this is not the cutest story ever. Oh my God, so cute. Lost your keys, can't remember where you parked the car. If only you had the memory of a mountain chickadee. These half-ounce birds with brains slightly larger than a pea stash tens of thousands of food items like seeds in tree bark and the dead leaves inside pine cones across the mountains and can remember their locations with pinpoint accuracy. When winter arrives, they can recall the exact locations of their caches, a skill that helps them survive the bitter cold and deep snow of the mountain homes in Colorado Rocky Mountains. How cool is that? Oh, chickadees are impressive birds, said Scott Taylor, the director of CU Boulder's Mountain Research Station and associate professor in the Department of Ecology and Evolutionary Biology. Their spatial memory is much more developed than many other birds that don't have to have this strategy to survive cold winters. Oh, that's a really cool story. So we had Arbor Day, we had bird flu, and we had chickadees with great memories. And that's the stories for today. And other stories, again, remember they were continuations. We can just try to see things from a different perspective. In terms of the protest, I think we're getting a glimpse of the new generation and their view on equality for all, equality of basics, equality for life. And they're serious about it. They're serious about it. So I think that's what we're seeing now. I hope that we can all get to a place where there's forgiveness and love and caring for each other, so we don't have to fight for resources. And hopefully. So I think maybe the times that we're living in now help us to create societies that are like that, you know. And although we don't have all the answers now, most importantly, it looks to me like many of us, and especially the youth, are wanting this. So once the want is there, we'll find a way, I think, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. Is that what they say? So let's see. May lead to more peace in the long run, but we have to go through this before to know what we want. The other thing was the Trump trial that continues to be aware of our thought patterns, I think, and the type of situations we attract to ourselves. And while not excusing his behavior, stepping back and looking at what could have occurred in his life to develop a personality such as. And I'm aware that some people also don't have a problem with that personality. So, you know, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, what are the factors that could have created such a personality and the impact that it has on the world? Yeah. And, you know, holding, if you don't think it's a healthy personality, holding grace for what occurred for it to develop in the way that it did. And if you do think it's a healthy personality, looking at how the personality affects others, unintentionally or intentionally, you know? So those are the things we're looking at today as we head into the weekend. I hope everyone has a good and safe. Hope everyone has a good and safe weekend, and that they know that they are loved and that they are loved, regardless of what has occurred or experiences they've had. That love is internal. And yeah, it's an inside job. I know it may seem like others don't make time, maybe, or don't really care. That may be true, or it could not be true. It could be a story you're telling yourself. Either way, give yourself the love that you deserve. Because if you don't give it to you, no one else definitely is under any obligation to do so. So you got to give it to yourself. And you'll see once you start loving yourself, how that opens up different aspects of your life and calms a lot of stuff down, a lot of feelings that don't feel too good. Okay. So, and that loving yourself has to do with forgiving yourself, not judging yourself, seeing yourself from a perspective of, maybe I did not so great at that time, but the circumstances I was under may have contributed to the response. And now that I am more aware of myself and my actions, my thoughts and my emotions, I can have better experiences and less reactions and more responses. One day at a time, though, there is no rush. You got to take it one day at a time, gently. I don't know. I was listening to something the other day, and some guy said that it was like immediate for him, his whole perspective changed. So that may happen as well. It may happen as well. Yeah, I think it happened. I think it could also happen that your perspective changed, but it takes a while for you to be less triggered as well and be patient with yourself with that. Even if you're aware of it and you're like, oh, I should not have reacted that way, forgive yourself. There's going to be a next time where you can do better or be less triggered, you know? So take time with yourself, guys. Anyways, I hope you have a great weekend and I'll be back on Monday. This is Malika Critchlow from Hello Friend News, your friendly news podcaster. Bye.